Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all today on my dad's birthday. So be sure, if you are in the live chat, to wish him a happy birthday. And in case you don't know what I'm referring to, then you must be living under a rock, because we do these podcasts live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. That's right, live on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, all of that at once. So if you guys have an extra 5 seconds of your time today, be sure to swing on into the Twitch and say happy birthday to my father. I hope you guys are all having a great start to your Frisky Friday. It's the end of the week. We made it to another end of the week. I made it 6 days without my Detroit Pistons playing, but tonight they play against the Atlanta Hawks. So I'm ready to talk smack to a certain one of my viewers in the Twitch stream. Before we get started in today's podcast, I want to give you all a breakdown on what we're doing today. So today we are going over 3 out of the 4 games that were last night. Now, we're not going to so much talk about the games themselves, rather than I think the storylines that are involved around these teams, because a couple of the games weren't that entertaining. But one of the games in particular was a just absolute disaster class for one city in particular. They call themselves the Los Angeles Clippers, but they really are in Inglewood, which is an even bigger L than being in Los Angeles. Sorry, Clippers fans, I apologize. And then we are going to be talking about the other 2 games, and then ending today's podcast with an old segment that I'm bringing back from a month ago, because that's when we started the podcast, called Is This True? Where I tell you a trending storyline, and it's up to you whether or not if this trend is going to continue. I think that's what I call it. I might have combined 2 things at once, but is this a trend? Yeah, that's what the topic is. Is this a trend? And we are going to talk about, I'm going to bring a trending topic, and you are going to help me decide whether or not this topic is a trend, like me waffling for 3 minutes at the start of every podcast, which, yes, that is a trend. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, I say we just get right into the meat of this podcast. But before we do, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. YouTube, be sure to drop a like, subscribe. TikTok, be sure to spam that like button. Keep double tapping that screen. Twitch chat, sit there, look handsome, and enjoy the show. All right, y'all, let's get into it with our first game that we're going to break down from last night. Before we talk basketball itself, obviously the Houston Rockets survived the Los Angeles Clippers last night in Houston, 115 to 113. Now, I'd like to just tell y'all a huge complaint of mine. Something that Adam Silver needs to fix, because I'm imagining this as a casual viewer. Let's say I'm at a bar, right? And this game is on. And I'm about to leave the bar after this game ends. Let's just say that example. Let's say I live in Houston and I'm watching this game. And, all right, guys, I got to get home to my kids. I don't have any kids. Oh, don't leave, Joe, you got to stick around. The game's almost done. There's only 3 minutes left on the game. And I say, okay, fine. I'll stay for another 3 minutes. And it ended up turning into over 30 minutes. Adam Silver, there is a simple way to fix this. Either limit timeouts to be 30-second timeouts at the end of the game, because you remove 30-second timeouts unless it's an injury, or just don't allow challenges in the last 2 minutes and have your referees actually know how to referee a game. Listen, I'm going to take you through it with this last 3 minutes. I think there was a minute left in the game. And Jabari Smith Jr. for the Houston Rockets got called for an offensive foul after he got a rebound, okay? I think he hit, is it Ryan Dunn or is it Eric Dunn? It's Chris Dunn, sorry, Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn swiped for the ball, and Jabari Smith Jr. sort of nudged him in the chin or whatever. The Houston Rockets broadcast was completely oblivious. I hate commentators who are incredibly biased towards their own team. It's disgusting, because these guys are saying, he didn't even elbow him. He hit him in the chest. What a flop by Chris Dunn. Now, Chris Dunn did exaggerate the contact. He did flop, but he hit him in the face. And what these Houston Rockets commentators are saying, he barely touched him in the chest. Lying. Your biases are showing, Mr. Commentator of the Houston Rockets. Right from that moment, I switched over to the Clippers commentators just to hear how depressed he was. Now, they reviewed that play for a hostile act. That took over 5 minutes for them to decide whether it was a common foul or unnecessary contact, and it would have been a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. After that, they decided that it wasn't an aggressive play, and it was just a normal common offensive foul. So then, I believe it was the Clippers, or no, it was the Rockets then challenging that it was a foul or not. So then there was another review. And then another thing, after it was declared this, they challenged another thing. So that last minute of the game, taking over 30 minutes, should be, that is just, this has been happening all season long. This has been happening for the last 5 years. It's absolutely disgusting. It ruins the game flow. It's horrible. Now, I got a couple words for y'all. And if you know where this is from, then you deserve, you deserve a cookie or something. It's the fourth quarter. Why the F Nick Batum in? Why is Nick Batum in? It's the fourth quarter. Why the F Batum in? He played almost the entire fourth quarter in 2025. Nick Batum was inbounding the ball. And all his teammates just ran down the court. They don't have any timeouts. He steps onto the baseline, turnover, Clippers ball. The Clippers gave up like 10 offensive rebounds. Listen, the rebounding battle tells you the entire story. The Rockets got 51 rebounds to the Clippers 28. Okay? I mean, what is going on here? Chris Paul was the problem, right? Chris Paul was the issue, right? That's why we said don't come anymore. That's why, right? Now I'm going to answer a comment from B Swanee in the Twitch stream. He said, "How many challenges does the team get?" I agree, you shouldn't be able to challenge in 2 minutes left or so. So that's the thing. Each team gets one challenge, right? So if you could challenge in the first half, you will get your challenge back if you get it correct into the second half. So technically you'll have 2 challenges each team, and these challenges take over 5 minutes to decide. And then if you get it wrong, then you lose your challenge and your timeout. So that's like the penalty of doing it. And challenging is new. It came into the sport like 2 or 3 years ago or whatever it is. Disgusting. Now, I just want to say the Clippers as an organization, right? Just absolutely disgusting. A couple of those steals that Kawhi got rewarded for, because he had 5 steals, they were sort of just tipped passes, or just somebody on the Rockets just losing the ball and they would just retrieve it, right? I think I agree with my fiance in the Twitch chat. They should be penalizing the refs for bad calls, because as a Piston fan, there's a lot of bad calls, a lot of them. Now, as we were saying, right, this game, just absolutely atrocious, absolutely atrocious. The Rockets destroyed them, and the Rockets didn't even have that good of a game. Let's be real with ourselves. Amen Thompson had a good game, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, but he played for 41 minutes. Right? That's a lot of time. 8 for 12, over 3 from the field. I believe Amen Thompson is now shooting below 20% from three-point land. Yeah, he is shooting 19.1% from 3. And it was so funny because everybody was telling me that Amen Thompson is going to be most improved player. Amen Thompson is going to come in with a 3-point shot. Fans don't understand basketball. A lot of fans don't understand basketball. You can't turn a 15% shooter into a 40% shooter in one offseason. That doesn't happen. His brother, on the other end, is shooting about 33%, 34% from deep. Kevin Durant had a very, very bad and quiet game. They were not giving him the ball whatsoever. Why is Kevin Durant getting 16 points? Why? 5 for 14 from the field. Jabari Smith Jr. had a decent game, but not shooting it well, right? Alperen Şengün, 9 for 22. I'm telling you, the Rockets did not have a good game. The only reason they won this is because they had more bench production than the Clippers did. 10 points for Reed Shepherd, 4 points for Steven Adams, 13 points for Aaron Holiday. He hit 4 threes as well. And then look at the Clippers, man. Look at the Clippers. You expect to win when you're playing Nick Batum in 2025 for 28 minutes? You got 16 points off your bench. 16 points off your bench. Look at this lineup. And I have a very interesting opinion at the end of this podcast, and I'm going to need your guys' help when we talk about it. So make sure y'all stick around, because it's about these super teams. It's about these superstars joining forces, blah, blah, blah. Listen, Ivica Zubac, right? Ivica Zubac, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 13 for 14 from the field, was their lone bright spot. Because you look at Kawhi, 9 for 22. You look at James Harden, 7 for 18. I mean, this team, they got rid of Chris Paul. For what reason? For what reason did they tell Chris Paul to go home? They weren't going to do any better. They were not going to do it. They thought if we just gather the oldest team, guys, I need y'all to lock in for a quick second. The oldest team in NBA history. That is not a joke. The oldest team in NBA history by average age on the squad. They thought they could bring that into this season and fool us. They thought. And I started this segment by saying, it's the fourth quarter. Why the F Batum? And he played almost the entire fourth quarter. Ivica Zubac has got to be one of the softest 7-footers on the glass, other than him and Miles Turner. Maybe Jared Jackson Jr., but he's not 7 foot. So let's look at 7-footers. Miles Turner and Ivica Zubac do not grab rebounds. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Zubac, you are a Boston Celtic. Don't you worry. The Rockets didn't deserve this game. The Rockets did not deserve this game. They were trying to lose to the Clippers. They gave up like 10 rebounds at the end of the game. The Rockets did not deserve this win. So I don't know what to say. Like, Zubac gets you rebounds, but at the end of the game, it doesn't even matter. Like, you're just missing all of those. He's averaging, I think, 17 and 12, yes. But if you are missing rebounds, mind you, Steven Adams wasn't even in the game until the end of the game because they brought him in for that. He wasn't even in the game at the end. They have Brook Lopez as well, who, guys, can we talk about real quick? Look, I love me some Brook Lopez. Long tenure in the NBA. He looks horrendous this year. There's a reason he's had multiple DMPs. He is old. I think this has got to be the last year for Brook Lopez. He is old. He is old. He does not look good. I love Brook Lopez. And, you know, this year won't dictate how I think of Brook Lopez. But, yeah, this is bad, guys. This is really, really bad. Again, Rockets did not deserve this win, but they inked it out. They squeezed this win out. Shout out Aaron Holiday, by the way. Aaron Holiday is like battling for minutes. You know, we're really happy that Aaron Holiday is like actually getting minutes, but of course that was at the cost of Fred VanVleet getting hurt. The Rockets are going to be a very good all-around team once they get Tari Eason back, once they get Fred VanVleet back, once they get DFS back. This is a good team, and you know the fact that they're winning right now without these guys, I think that's, you know, you should take that to the bank. Right now, offense is just the Rockets' issue, because even when you look at this team, this is the most green you can see on a team. 4th in points, 1st in rebounds, 6th in steals, 4th in field goals made, 6th in field goal percentage. The only issue for them is 3-point shooting. They just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? So with Fred VanVleet returning next year, I think this team could be really good. But the issue for them is that it has to happen, right? You got Durant in like his prime right now not his prime, the end of his prime for what, another year? They're probably going to go for another point guard because that is their weakest position. But I could see the Rockets making some serious noise this year. Their issue right now is that they forced Amen Thompson into the point guard role when he's just not a point guard. So he's having good games in a sense, like where he can get these. I think he had 8 assist nights. But Amen's issue is he's not a threat on the perimeter, right? And he won't be a threat on the perimeter. Now, this game really translates into playoff basketball, and I'd like to say that because I just saw a comment on the TikTok. A guy said they won't play well in the playoffs without the 3 ball, and that is one of the dumbest statements I've heard of the week. Shout out to that dude. I don't know what his name is because the chat moves too fast on the TikTok. Yeah, that is one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard, because teams that are aggressive, teams that are big, teams that play well in a half-court offense like the Rockets do thrive in the playoffs. And speaking of the 3-point shooting, I'm going to be talking about the Celtics in particular later on in this podcast regarding the 3-point line, okay? I think they need a point guard here. I don't think that they should swing for the fences for a LaMelo Ball or a Trae Young or anything like that. But, yeah, it is getting to that point where you do need a point guard. And as far as the Clippers go, I mean, just, you know, Just, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, any Clippers fans in here? Any Clippers fans? This team could really use Chris Paul, huh? Oh, wait. Sorry. All right, guys, let's move on to our next game because, yeah, honestly, this game was ugly. The last 3 minutes of the game took over 30 minutes. So, honestly, watching this game, it was just like, when will this end? When will it end? Next game is pretty interesting, though. We're going to talk about the Bucks toppling the Boston Celtics. Now, I want you to pay attention to one stat here, ladies and gentlemen. The Boston Celtics made 14 threes last night. They lost. Now, I'm going to talk about the Boston Celtics a little bit more extensively later into this podcast. I just want to let y'all know they only win when they hit 20 plus threes. Okay? They only win when they hit 20 plus threes. So we're going to talk about the Bucks. Actually, let me talk about it right now. The Boston Celtics, right? I'm going to prove to you right here. They lost last night. They only hit 14 threes. They won against Toronto. Guess what? They had 20 threes. Before that, they won against the Lakers. Guess what? They had 24 threes. They won against the Wizards. Guess what? They had 23s. So that's what I'm going to say. And then I'll speak on that later into this podcast. So stick around for my Boston Celtics fans. Stick around. The Milwaukee Bucks. You know I like starting with a winner. Wow, wow, wee, wow. Kyle Kuzma turning into prime Kobe. 31 points, 13 for 17 from the field. Bobby Portis off the bench, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 11 for 13 from the field, 5 for 6 from 3. Had they lost this game, Giannis would have asked to be traded on the spot because you cannot lose legacy games like this. I'm going to just be blunt and honest. My Bucks fans can attest. Kyle Kuzma's been good this year. He's had moments, he's had nights, right? Where he looks like Wizards, Kyle Kuzma. But overall, he is getting this rust off. I'm talking the Washington Wizards shot chucking, we got to lose these games type rust off. And it's looking better and better like each week. Compare what he's looked like this year to last year and the year before. Kyle Kuzma's night and day right now. His efficiency is going up. His shot, what's the term? His shot, not his shot chart, but his shot selection, his shot diet. That's what I was looking for. His shot diet looks much, much, much better from last year and the year previous. It just takes a little bit time to wipe that rust off. Now, I would like to say, despite these good games from Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma, there is an alarming thing. It's that your center that you just signed in this past offseason, my Pacers fan in the chat is laughing right now. I know it. He's not playing at the end of the game, right? You're sitting him out because he has 4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from the field. This man is getting paid $26 million this year, guys. $26 million. He can't play at the end of the games because they take him in isolation. He can't guard the perimeter. He can't get you rebounds. If he's not having a hot night, which he never has a hot second half, I don't know the last time I've ever seen Miles Turner have a good second half in his year. I'm going to just interrupt myself very quickly. This guy named King Cam in the TikTok stream has been spamming, should Pistons get Trey Murphy? Yes. I've read your message 1,000 times. I'm not talking about the Pistons right now. Okay. Yes, they should. Will they? No. Jesus, bro. Some of these guys. Daddy, please pay attention to me. Please, father, pay attention to me. Should the Pistons get Trey? Yes. Is that a yes? Yes. Yes, the Pistons should get Trey Murphy. Will they? No. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Okay. Get away from a lot of dudes in the TikTok. Come through to the Twitch. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. I don't even remember what I was talking about. My apologies, podcast listeners. I just get so sidetracked because I see Kevin Porter Jr. triple-double. 18 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists. Kevin Porter Jr. could be very good on on a contending team. But Miles Turner, back on that topic, has looked absolutely horrendous. Absolutely, dude. 26 million a year. 26 million a year. I never would have thought that I'd say Halliburton can make a player look so good, even though he's so average, below average, to be honest. Miles Turner, buddy, this is bad. Hey, need I remind y'all that Miles Turner plays with Legos? Need I remind y'all? He plays with Legos, and his contract is ascending. It's not descending, it's ascending. Need I remind you? His contract is ascending, and he plays with Legos. Okay? So, you owe him $26 million. Unfortunate for y'all, man. KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr., that triple-double was nice. But honestly, this was the legacy game for Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis. If they had lost this game, yeah, I would have went wrong. That would have been bad. 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 Playing with Legos is only bad if you're Miles Turner. Anybody else can play Legos, okay? But just because you're Miles Turner, Legos are bad. Anybody else, y'all can play Legos and you're free, okay? So, Bucks had a great game. Again, the Celtics failed to get 23s in the game, so that's unfortunately why they lost. That's why Boston loses. That's why Boston loses, okay? Yeah, Cole Anthony had a solid game as well. 9 points, 4 for 6. It was a nice game. It was a nice game. And they went deep into their bench. But overall, the Bucks only win because the Celtics don't get 23s. That's why the Celtics win. That's why the Celtics loses. That's just how it works. Look at all of their schedule. When they win, they hit 20 plus threes. When they lose, they failed to do it. The third quarter, I believe they missed every single three they put up. Every single three they put up in the third quarter, they missed. They scored 13 points in the third. So that's how the Boston Celtics play, man. That's how the Boston Celtics play. I'd like to give a massive shout out to Papo Secco. Thank you for the giant follow on Twitch, my boy. I appreciate you a lot. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you very, very much. He came into the Twitch and said Boston lost because PP Hauser stopped. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It was bad. I know. Yeah, I saw everybody saying, get Sam Hauser off my team. He was 0 for 10, shot 0 for 9 from deep. 0 for 10, and he shot 0 for 9 from deep. And you can just look down the list. Anthony Simons, 1 for 6 from deep. Peyton Pritchard, 3 for 11. Derek White, 2 for 9. Legacy game right there. And then Jaylen Brown just can't do it all himself. Now, what I will say about the Celtics and why I am excited for their future, I love Jordan Walsh. I love Jordan Walsh. God, what a player. What energy this guy has. He's awesome. He's awesome. I like Jordan Walsh a lot. He crashes the offensive glass. Like 4 out of his 8 rebounds are offensive. He's everywhere. Jordan Walsh is like, I'll be honest. Jordan Walsh is sort of like how do I say this without being disrespectful? I don't want to call him a Dollar General version of somebody because he's actually really good and he's young. I think he's a watered down Thompson twin. Except he can shoot threes. Like plain and simple. He's a watered down Thompson twin. He's great defensively, great lateral quickness, great on the offensive glass, great on both glasses. But he shoots from 3 and he's good. Shooting 48% from 3. I don't think that's on a lot of attempts, but still. Yeah, I really like Jordan Walsh. I really, really like him. He's active all the time. I think every team needs a player like Jordan Walsh. But this was just Milwaukee's game, man. This was Milwaukee's game. These guys are playing their heart out because every time they lose, Giannis is getting further and further and further out the door. If any of my Bucks fans in the chat have a big take that they want to say, feel free, something that I could share in front of everybody. But yeah, what I will say is that Miles Turner, I think that's probably the worst. No, not probably. That is the worst free agent signing of this past offseason. 26 M's for a guy that you can't play in the fourth quarter. 26 million for a guy that doesn't get you points or rebounds. 26 million for a guy that his team was shopping him every single summer for the last 10 summers. And now he left them. I think it's a little bit poetic, though. It's a little bit poetic that he ended up leaving them after they shopped him for 10 years straight. Miles Turner, I believe, is 7 foot. And he doesn't get your rebound. 6'11". Okay, he's 7 foot, and he doesn't get rebounds. The thing is, I understand the Yabusele signing, but it's not for the amount of money for Miles Turner. And now Miles Turner's also in trade rumors. Yeah, he's also in trade rumors. I don't know what kind of team would need a Miles Turner. Like, you would look at like the Celtics, but hell no. Why would the Celtics want that? Right? You would look at like teams who need centers. And then every team you look at, it's like, but he's not really a center. You know? So I don't know. I don't know what you do about Miles Turner. But yeah, it's not looking great. It's not looking great for Miles freaking Turner. Okay. The thing is, it's like the idea of Miles Turner is great, right? The idea of Miles Turner is great, but the actual product that you get on the floor is what is very yuck. Rice Emoji came into the Twitch stream and asked, what's your take on Anthony Simons? I don't. There's a reason they traded Anthony Simons and kept shading Sharp, right? Anthony Simons he's a spark plug. That's the best he's going to do. That's the best he's going to give a team. He is either going to turn up on the bench or he's not going to do anything and he's just going to shoot you out of the game. Anthony Simons is only offense, and if he's not playing well offensively, then he's just not doing anything for you as a team. But I will say Anthony Simons is a player that like can tilt games, you know? He can definitely tilt games because like I remember it was against the Pistons in the first matchup against them. He just went crazy. He just went crazy off the bench, and that's where it works. So he can definitely tilt games, but I don't know, man. I think he's going to be, is he on his rookie contract still? Am I crazy for saying that? No, what am I saying? So I think he's up for an extension. I did not think he was in the league for 7 years. That's insane. That is actually insane. Yeah, they traded for Anthony Simons for the Drew Holiday trade. And I thought they were going to move him immediately. Yeah, he's on the last year of his contract. Thank you, Papo. Thank you. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I really got to talk about the Boston and Bucks. It was a good game. Jaylen Brown did his thing, but no help, unfortunately. I'm going to be talking about the Boston Celtics again later into this episode. All right. Just right now, we're going to move on. Here we go. We are going to talk briefly, not long, briefly on this game. The Portland Trailblazers fall to the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans, I believe, were 3-22 before this game, and now they move on to 4-22. Hell yeah, Pelicans fans. Now, what I will say about this game is if you watch this, shout out to you. You're a sicko if you watch this game. But we didn't really have that many options last night. I'm going to start with the Trailblazers this time because we're not going to talk about it quick. Everybody had a bad game except for Sidy Cissoko. Sidy Cissoko was the only guy who had a good game. He was 8 for 12 off the bench for 20 points. And it ran Rupert a little bit. But yeah, Denny Avdia was horrible last night. Chris Murray was horrible. Jeremy Grant was horrible. Tumani Kamara was horrible. Shaden Sharp was okay. But what I will say, Denny Avdia, it amazes me of the whistle that he has because I think I'm going to add Denny Avdia into my most hated players list. Now, hear me out if there's any Blazers fans in the crowd. I don't like Denny. I don't like the way he plays basketball at all. I don't like it. It's like this guy worked on one thing in the summer, and it was, how can I flail my arms as much as possible and make it look convincing enough every time. I don't like Denny. I don't like the way he hoops. I don't like the way he just goes for foul calls all game. His one goal is to get fouled. That's it. And it's just a flop. Like, he genuinely makes Shea and Luka look tolerable because I'm telling you, it is every play. And I don't want to hear this whole Shea foul merchant BS. Shea fools you with his footwork. Okay? Denny Avdia drives to the hoop and just, yeah, every time. He only had 7 free throws last night, and that's why he only had 16 points. If you want to look at the free throws, feel free. I think he's top 5 in free throw attempts per game, which I don't understand how that happens. I don't know how the refs just suddenly said, let's keep giving him a bunch of these calls. I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed. But it's happening. He's getting 10 free throws a night. 10 free throws a night. And he didn't get them last night, and they lost. They had a very bad game all around. Also, shout out to Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups. He had to sell his house in Portland. So, ladies and gents, one of my Pistons goats, I don't think he's ever going to return to coaching again. He pled not guilty in the mafia poker game. But he sold his house, his house on the lake, just outside of Portland. I don't think Mr. Big Shot is going to be returning as an NBA coach. I'd also like to give some credit to that man, Tiago Splitter. He's doing okay for the Blazers. The Blazers, I will say though, guys, they've dropped 6 out of the last 7 games. So I'll be honest with everybody. If you just look at the NBA standings right now and you look out west, right? Okay, so Pacers are at the bottom, 4-22. Worst team in the West. They're going to be the worst team in the West. I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the league, right? So when I tell y'all, it's very, very interesting to see what a team can look like when the season starts ticking up, right? So I'm going to go ahead and try this for my Twitch chat. There you go. So what you're looking at right now are the standings. Everybody can see the standings. Podcast listeners, don't worry. I will show y'all what I'm talking about. I think the way the West is going to pan out is the play-in teams are the play-in teams. It's, the 10th seed through the 7th seed. I think it's going to end up being it's going to be the Blazers battling the Mavericks and Grizzlies for that play-in spot. The Grizzlies are back in it. They had a very bad start to the season, and yet now all of a sudden they've come back. They've come back, and they just lost Zach Edey. We didn't talk about that, so very unfortunate for them. But sometimes it's the way she goes. Injuries are a part of the game. Very interesting for the Blazers. Now, getting back to the Pels, I wanted to talk about their team right now because I normally talk with the team that wins before. So let's talk about the team that won, the Pelicans. Shout out to Trey Murphy. You are a Detroit Piston. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot 10 for 14. Incredible game. Okay. Herb Jones, bad game. Move past it. Derek Queen. Now, this is why, guys, I highly recommend y'all. Highly recommend y'all to watch the Pelicans. They are fun. I know their record sucks, but they are a fun watch as of the last week. They are a fun watch in the last week. They learned that they can play through Derek Queen. And my God, it's fun, man. It's fun. Derek Queen is a monster. Watch this cat, the way he facilitates on the top of the key. He's not even a threat from 3 yet. But teams have to step up on him because he's quick and can get to the hoop. I love me some Derek Queen. I love me some Pels games right now. Jeremiah Fears is fast as hell. Apparently, Willie Green did suck. Apparently, he sucked. Because this team now, man, Bryce McGowan's 23 points off the bench. Jordan Poole, it's a pool party. 22 points off the bench, 8 for 19. She shot a lot. Shot a lot for his first game back. Dude, this team is looking fun, man. Genuinely, I think it's time that you take this serious. You take this serious, man. Like, you have good, young players. This cat, Bryce McGowan's, is shooting 54% from 3. You have pieces. I think you got to just move on. Get rid of Zion. Get rid of Herb. Get rid of Trey. Get rid of Sadiq. Get rid of everybody. Build around Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. That is a great 1-2 punch, man. That is a great 1-2 punch. Now, Pels fans, I know it feels good to win, but this is for your future. And in my opinion, I think they just got to get rid of everybody and blow it up and just move on. Get your hands clean and rebuild around Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. Those are your players. Those are your players. I can't see. I can see their timelines aligning, but you can get a lot for the players you have. I think you guys are underestimating the talent that they have. I think just stockpile picks. Now, teams don't want to give up many picks right now. They don't want to do that. I'm seeing a lot of people in the TikTok chat say that I lost them by with what I said. They said I lost them by saying trade Herb and Trey Murphy. The Pelicans viewers in my Twitch chat, what do you guys think? Because your opinion is gold to me. I think they can just build this team. They don't have their pick next year. I think you can rebuild this team around Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queens. I think that can be a great 1-2 punch in this modern day NBA. Y'all can holler at me and let me know. I just think at this point, the timelines have sort of got conflicted because you're not going to get the package that you think that you're going to get for Zion Williamson anymore. You know, my avid Pelicans fans in my Twitch chat, who I value the most, said trade Herb. You might be able to keep Trey. Okay. I like that. Trey is a very good player. Now, I'm more so saying trade Trey because I want him in Detroit. Trey is 24. Herb Jones, they've already expressed that they're not interested with Trey. Yeah, Herb's got to go. Herb's is 27. I did not know Herb was that old. Herb's got to go. He's 27. A franchise needs a player like Herb Jones on their team. But yeah, Trey Murphy, he's only 24. He fits age-wise on this team if they wanted to keep him. Yeah, I think this looks good. I think the extension only helps. A lot of teams could be using Herb Jones. We'll see. The Pelicans, guys, I highly recommend y'all to watch the Pelicans right now, man. They are fun. I assure you, they are fun to watch. And this is coming from a non-Pelicans fan. Like, I've had disdain for the Pelicans as a franchise because of how horribly it's ran. Seeing that crowd empty as it is. Now, mind you, there was no defense in this game, but Derek Queen is he's running this offense, and it's so cool to see. It's so cool to see. I highly recommend y'all watching this team. They're a lot of fun. I know they only beat the Blazers, but in a lot of their games recently, they've been close. They've just been choking at the end. They choked against the Spurs. They sort of got killed by Brooklyn. But these last few games, they really choked against Minnesota. I think they were up by like 18 or something in that game. I actually got to check. They were up by... Oh, they're only up by 5, but they were up 5 late. And then they choked. So yeah, watch the Pelicans. They're a lot of fun. I think Jose Alvarado can get you some pieces as well. He definitely doesn't match along with their age-wise. I think you can get some pieces for all of these players that they have on their roster. Now, I want to say again, if you guys are enjoying the episode today, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Okay, Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. I'd love for y'all to come through. That's where I value my most strong opinions in this chat. So if you guys want to talk to me, get your opinion read, and just join an overall great hoops community, join the Twitch stream Jay-Z Uncut. If you go to 3 streams in a row, I gift you a sub so that you don't get any ads over here. Okay, so be sure to come through to the Twitch. Now, let's move on to my segment that I haven't done in about a month, and I want you guys to participate in this as well. Okay, so get involved. Let me know what your opinion is. This topic is called, is this a trend? Okay, and you are going to say yes or no if you see it being a trend or not. Okay, number 1, is this a trend? Are we watching the greatest team in NBA history? I'm talking just this team this year. Ignore dynasties. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Bulls won 3 in a row. Doesn't matter. I'm talking singular season. Are we watching the greatest team in NBA history? Do you believe that this is a trend? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and I'm going to say yes. This is the greatest team in NBA history. And if you disagree, I can show you a couple stats that will sort of make you change your mind. Okay? So, the Oklahoma City Thunder right now have the highest net rating by a team in NBA history. That's right, NBA history. And it's not even effing close. The Thunder right now have a net rating of 17.2. In case you guys don't know what net rating is, let me dumb it down. It's very easy. Per 100 possessions, how many points are you giving up? And how many points are you putting up? Their first place right now was 17.2. The Bulls, the 1996 Bulls, you know, one of the greatest teams in NBA history, the Bulls with Rodman, with Scottie, with Jordan, that team, they finished with 13.4. 13.4. They have 17.2 right now, and they're going to get a top 5 pick courtesy of the Los Angeles Poopers. And guess what? Number 3 was last year's Thunder team. So for you guys who just came in and bluntly said no, you needed to think about it an extra second, because their last year's team beat the 97 Bulls, beat the 2017 Warriors, beat the 24 Celtics. They beat the 2016 Spurs. They beat the 2008 Celtics. The question is, will they keep this up? That's the fun in this. That's the fun in this. Is this a trend? Do you guys believe that they can hold this number above the Bulls? Because if they do, they are then the greatest team in NBA history. And it doesn't matter if they win it all. This is the history books, baby. This is in the history books. 50 years from now, we'll be looking at this team like we're looking at the 1970 Bucks. 11 net rating. I can't name a single player. Who was that? Was that Kareem? Kareem and Oscar. Those are the only guys I can name on that team. Kareem and let's actually see this roster. I'm very curious. Who was on this roster? Kareem, Lucius Allen, Bob Boozer, Dick Cunningham, Bob Dandridge, Gary Freeman, Bob Dreeken, John McLaughlin, McCoy McLemore, Oscar Robertson. None of these guys have photos except for Kareem and Oscar. So like I said, I think we very well might be looking at arguably the greatest team in NBA history. I see a bunch of who's in the TikTok. Don't disrespect legends. Oh, sorry about that. Let me be sure not to disrespect Dick Cunningham, who averaged less than 3 points a game. Sorry, Dick Cunningham. My apologies, bro. My apologies, my boy. Born in 1946. My fault. I didn't mean to apologize. I didn't mean to disrespect a legend in Dick Cunningham. What about Bob Greeken? Averaged 2.5 points per game. Oh boy, he played 2 years in the NBA. Oh God. What about Greg Smith? Oh, actually, Greg Smith was a decent player. 8 years. He averaged 8 points per game. That's not bad. Marv Winkler? There's no way this guy's a real person. He averaged 2.7 points and he only played 1 year in the NBA. Hey, shot 100% from the free throw line though. Shout out Marv Winkler. Never missed a free throw in his career. He averaged 5 minutes per game. Okay. Anyways, is this a trend? I think it's yes. I really do believe that we might be watching the greatest team in NBA history. I'm glad that this was such a strong debate because yeah, man, this is fun. This is fun. I think this might be the greatest NBA team in history. The fact that we can have this conversation is a lot of fun, chat. I think that's something that I want to sort of kill the narrative. There's a special individual right now. In fact, I'm going to pop up the clip for everybody. I'm going to just pop it up for everyone watching. I am not a fan of sports media now. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not a fan of it. Specifically, a man named Stephen A. Smith. Here's what he said about the Thunder. Okay. Here we go.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is just that dude. RC, Dio, Mina.
Oh, actually, this isn't the clip. Hold on. Is this it?
From Oklahoma City, but maybe you can, Stephen A.
They're 24-1, okay? They've won like 15 or 16 straight.
I want you guys to watch this.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is just that dude. RC, Dio, Mina, I'm worried about the NBA. OKC is on the verge of making this season that I was looking very much forward to very, very boring. They're just...
And I'm going to cut him off there. You can pretty much guess where this is going. So Stephen A. Smith then goes on to say that the Thunder are going to make basketball boring. They are going to make it incredibly boring and not fun to watch, and that they ruin the league. Okay? Now, I'm here to tell you right now, this team, it's easy to enjoy basketball, guys. just enjoy the greatness that's on your screen, because I'm showing you something that quite literally could turn this team into the greatest basketball team of all time. So I think enough is enough with this whole somebody step in, somebody tear his ACL. Like this, just enjoy it, because that's in my opinion, I think it's the most fun time of the NBA when there's a team so good, especially like homegrown like this. Why are people mad? This isn't Durant joining the Warriors. You can get mad at that. That was a punk move, but you can't get mad at a team homegrown. Imagine a team so good and then they get beat. I'm going to throw it back to 2011. Dirk Nowitzki beating a team that was so good, so unfair, beating the big three Heatles in Miami. Do you remember the feeling, the camaraderie, the amount of people that came together to celebrate Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks for beating the Miami Heat? Let me throw it back even more. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, who else? Gary Payton, Karl Malone, Derek Fisher. The Detroit Pistons beat the Giants. David versus Goliath. That's the most fun in sports. We should all be wanting a dynasty to form so that when they get toppled, it makes it that much sweeter. Everybody comes together. Because here's the thing. If the New York Knicks beat my Pistons and go on to the finals, and they're up against the Thunder, I'm rooting for the Knicks. Almost all of us are going to be rooting for the Knicks. If the Pistons go to the finals, obviously I'm rooting for the Pistons, and I would love to see the world root for the Pistons. That's how I feel. Okay, guys, next. Help me out here. Is this true? Or sorry, is this a trend? My bad, I confused it with the old topic. Is this a trend? The Celtics scorching from 3 into the playoffs? I'm going to just show y'all again. So here we go. The Boston Celtics, they lost last night. They only hit 14 threes, so they lost. The Boston Celtics against Toronto, they hit 20 threes, so they won. The Boston Celtics against the Lakers, they hit 24 threes, so they won. The Boston Celtics against the Washington Wizards, they hit 23s. They didn't need them, so they won. The Boston Celtics against the Knicks, they hit 13 threes. Oh my God, and they beat the Knicks? Damn, the Knicks. Oh yeah, that was the bad Brunson game, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That was like the worst game I've ever seen Brunson play. Against the Cavs, only 14 threes. The Cavs, wow, okay. So my trend being is that in 85% of the games for the Boston Celtics end up in them needing to scorch from 3. They are second in three-pointers made, third in three-pointers attempted. Do you guys think that this is sustainable? Is this a trend going into the playoffs? Now, I'm going to go ahead and say no. Main reason is Jason Tatum is extremely important to this team. And they need the shot creation from Jason Tatum. That is what allowed them to hit all of these threes. You guys have seen Derek White have the worst shooting stretch of his career. And that's the reason is because of the gravity that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum had. Fast PP Peyton Pritchard, again, he's shooting the worst he's ever shot because he doesn't have the gravity from Tatum, from White, from Brown that he had last year. So until they get Jason Tatum back and they're healthy, I don't see this trend continuing because at some point you're just going to stay on the perimeter. You're just going to go into a 3-2 zone and just stay on that perimeter. I mean, they are attempting 50 to 63s every single night because that's the only way they can win these games. They don't have any other shot creation outside of Jaylen Brown. So I don't think that this trend, I don't think it's a trend. Let's move on to our next topic of is this a trend? TikTok. I see a lot of you guys talking in there. Boss, Twan, Kusta, a bunch of you goats in the TikTok stream who've been hanging out for a while. Be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio, JZ Uncut on Twitch. We'd love for y'all to join the show and join a part of this community. Let's move on. Guys, help me out. Is this a trend? Oh, I am on the wrong screen. My apologies. Is this a trend? Super teams. Super teams, y'all. Do you see super teams continuing to be a trend? Do you see it happening? My answer is no. Teams aren't going to be forming the way they used to. I think this is finally the end of super teams. And the reason being is the second apron. With the new CBA, with the new bargain agreement, with the new second apron in the NBA, super teams are no more. You're not going to be able to bring stars together in their primes. You won't be able, because here's the thing. Teams right now that are winning, they're winning it all. They have one guy and then a bunch of great guys. Look at the Thunder. One guy and a bunch of great guys. Look at the Nuggets. One guy and a bunch of good guys. Who won the year before? Who won? The Warriors. One guy, bunch of good guys. The Bucks, one guy, bunch of good guys. You have to go all the way back to 2018, 2019 to find 2018 to find that star-studded team in the Warriors. So with the way that the Thunder is constructed, with the way that they've built through the draft, with the way that they've made trades for young players early and growing those talents together, the new way for the modern NBA teams to win is to build from the draft and build from within. And that's why I implore the Pelicans to trade that Zion, to trade that Herb Jones, to get more of those pieces to allow your team to build around these young guys and grow from within. With the way that super teams are constructed now, it's not possible. Look at the Clippers. Look at any other team that has tried bringing a star among stars with a lot of money. Look at the Warriors. Respectfully, look at the Warriors. You have to build from within because that's the only way that you can keep your team like underneath that second apron. Straight up, that's the only way. So teams like the Pistons, teams like the Thunder, teams like the Rockets to an extent because they only added one guy. Teams like them, the Nuggets, who've built most of their core from within, and you're able to afford that. That is the new meta in today's NBA. Bringing stars in their prime and like them taking all that max money, there's not enough money for everybody else to go around. So you're not going to be able to build a viable team around them. So I don't think super teams are a trend. I think super teams are actually dead, to be honest. I think this is the end of super teams. They're just not winning the way they did. And I think, I genuinely think it's over. I think that was our last. Is this a trend? Yeah, that is the last. Is this a trend? Guys, that means it's going to be the end of today's episode. Twitch, be sure to stick around while we go ahead and look at the games tonight. YouTube, TikTok, I appreciate everybody hanging out. Be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream because we're still live over there. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. And first and foremost, I hope everybody has a beautiful rest of your weekend. TikTok listeners, podcast listeners, everybody. I hope you're having a great start to your Friday. Get after it. A lot of NBA this weekend. Go Pistons. They're up against the Hawks, and I believe Tingus Pingus is out again with this mysterious sickness that nobody knows what it is. Yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all. I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, have a blessed weekend, and thank you for watching/listening. I'll see y'all Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Have a good one, y'all. All right.